it's all about the people, right?
Hmm.
And it's sort of less about the bigger organization. I think people invest in people. I think that's what's important. Charities do great work, um, and charities are another example of how governments fail because if governments worked, we wouldn't need charities.
Hmm.
You notice how charities are always basically solving the mistakes made by governments. Yeah, so that they're filling in the spaces. The government makes holes in the wall, and charities come along and put their fingers in the holes to stop the water coming through.
Hmm.
So there are different kinds of vaccinations.
Hmm.
uh,
Hmm.
let me give you the differences between two. There's the vaccination you could get if you're going on holiday to a foreign country, right? As an adult. Yeah, you're going to be in a different environment with different food and different bacteria, and there's different diseases there. It might make some sense to get that vaccination because your body needs to be prepared for the different environment. So that's quite logical. Now, saying that, however, do you know what's in the vaccination? Right. So you cross your fingers and you hope that the pharmaceutical industry knows more than you know and that their interests are the same as your interests. Of course, the word pharma means poison, but that's just a mistake, I suppose. Right. So um, look at the history of the word. Look at the etymology of what it means. Now, that is
Yeah.
because that's because there's often a little bit of the poison in the cure. There's often a little bit of the poison in the cure. Yeah, and there's a lot of historical reasons for that. Kings in history were given poisons from birth because there
So
was
they would be resilient to it.
yeah, so that they would be immune to being poisoned as adults. Yeah. Yep. 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 It makes some kind of sense if you are from that world with those people. So the other kind of vaccinations are vaccinations given to children before the age of 2. Now, before the age of 2, a child's immune system hasn't developed. The baby
No.
doesn't have an immune system, and the vaccinations contain elements of viruses. It,
Hmm.
it so when you the answers are not on the lines. They're in the spaces between the lines. Let's add to that. The only person who knows what's best for you is you. And I'm not saying this because I'm not taking any responsibility. I'm taking a lot of responsibility. But my part of my work is to give other perspectives and to make people think and to uh, you know those little balls you get that are full of water and sometimes like snowflakes. I call them snow globes, and you shake them, and all the snow goes into the air and spins around.
Yes.
That's my job,
Yes.
right?
Hmm.
That's my
Yeah.
job. My clients are those little balls, and my job is like to shake them and spin everything around and see if it's possible to do things a little bit differently, to break the habits and to break the bad habits and bad patterns, and to create more. I would say to stimulate more thoughtful action. To understand. What I wrote about topic for today, fallacies and bias, which are
Mm.
we all make mistakes in our thinking, and we can have better quality in our lives if we realize those mistakes as as those mistakes happen. Yeah, if we can catch ourselves going, oh, okay, maybe that. And a classic example is when somebody, myself included at times, says, everything or everyone or all of this or all of that, or even every time. It needs to be qualified by almost, right? Because it and I've seen this in a lot of relationships where people say you always do this, and it's like, well, I do it more than I don't do it, but I don't always do it. Right? You always say that, and like, no, I say it more often than I don't say it, and it resonates with you when I say it because it strikes a chord or is frustrating or something, right? So these the use of, like, we all need to do something, or everybody needs to collectively come together, and well, that it's a good, as I said before, it's a good idea until it's not a good idea anymore. Yeah. Yeah. And I think I mentioned recently that there's a very, very thin line between doing what is right and doing whatever it takes to get what you think is right. Yeah, that people will go, people will, people can be very aggressive at times and vicious in certain elements of society just because they're not focused and thoughtful, and they're not able to think, because it's easier for them not to think, and it's easier to let other people think for you. And that's what most universities, not all, most universities teach people to let other people think for them. These are the experts. They've studied. They know all the data. They know all the information. Do what they say. I mean, if you look into the history of climate change, the IPCC, the International Panel for Climate Change, released a report that said the sun has no effect on the environment of the Earth. Yeah, said it's only humans, and that the collectively humans have more effect on the environment than the sun, which is ridiculous. Because the only reason that people exist is because the sun exists. So, get things in order, right? So, so we have to realize that a lot of things in the global system have been very much politicized, and politics is politicized, the media is weaponized, and people are anesthetized to to things. They don't feel a lot of what is going on, or they don't have the ability to sense properly the things that are going on.